What's going on, guys? So if you follow me on Instagram, you follow me on YouTube, you know everything that's going on in my life, you know everything about the COVID, and you also know that I have this really weird dude from Florida who decided to move into my basement with a bunch of snakes.
What?
What's up, guys? I'm Baker. This is Blue Line Morphs. If you're new to the channel, we are a new channel. We're slowly growing. We're just over 500 subscribers. We're going to keep this thing going. I'm going to be posting Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. That is not set in concrete. I try to do it every day, but between work and the whole COVID thing and just, honestly, I don't want to put out bullshit content. So, we're going to cut it down to Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. At least that's what I'm thinking. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe, like, comment, share. I always try to respond back to everybody. I have an Instagram channel, blue_line_morphs. Go hit me up on there, follow me on there. I do post on there daily. If you DM me, I will hit you back. If I don't answer right away, just DM me again so it pops up. Eventually, I will answer. I promise you. I always make a point to answer. So, just like the introduction said, if you probably know him already if you pay attention to my Instagram, you pay attention to my YouTube or his. This is Rob from Racr Reptiles. He is staying in my basement. This was his rack, which we'll get into another time, but now it is my rack. And he moved up here. He was a police officer for 10 years.
10 years.
10 years. Doing similar stuff to what I'm doing, undercover, narco, hitting doors, stuff like that. Not your blue and white just driving around answering calls. Nothing's wrong with that, but it is a different breed of cop, if you ask in my opinion. So, ultimately, he decided for his family, because, you know, cops aren't around a lot, right? It is what it is. Any first responder really isn't, except for firefighters, they are second responders, right, Mike? Okay, so, ultimately, he decided it's better for his family. He wanted to raise his son and raise his family, so he switched over to be an RN. He still has that niche. He still wanted to help people, so now he's an RN. So with the COVID shit that's been going on, long story short, the hospital up in New York City, you're from what, Gainesville, Florida?
Gainesville, Florida.
He's from Gainesville, Florida. So up here in New York, we're getting hammered, right? It's like ground zero. It was like the epicenter of where this all started, especially where it got worse. At least I know it started on the West Coast, but ultimately, New York, we don't pay attention. We do what we want. We think we're better than everybody else, so we kind of spread it. So the hospitals are overrun, and they need more nurses. So he ultimately hit me up. We met on Instagram Live, actually, right? We talked about this before. We'll touch on it briefly. Met on Instagram Live. I was just cleaning my tubs. I happened to go live to check it out. And then he popped in, said he wanted to go live with me. We hit the button. We started bullshitting. He was some redneck with a beard. We hit it off, right? You were cleaning tubs too.
Yeah.
We hit it off, exchanged phone numbers through DMs. You know, he hit me up with my DMs. And ultimately we became buddies. We have a big group text going with Porter from Porter Pythons, Mike from Redline Pythons. Go check them out. And Saul's Balls. So check all that out. We had a big group text going on, and ultimately it started kind of as a joke, I guess. Because the nursing assignments, let's be honest, nursing assignments up here, they're getting paid big money, and rightfully so, right? They're literally hanging out with people that have COVID 24/7, taking care of them. So he's like, "Big, do you have any extra room?" I'm like, "Yeah, I got a whole house, bro, and I got a basement apartment that's unoccupied right now. I have no tenant in it." So he decided to come up. While that was happening, he's also buying a house with his wife and his kids in Tennessee, which we'll get into in a second. So his wife didn't want to take care of his snakes, so he asked if he could bring all the snakes with him. So he did. He literally drove 1,100 miles in a U-Haul trailer with the ARS rack broken down and 27 snakes in the back of it. Got here last week sometime?
Yeah, last Tuesday.
Last Tuesday. That's the ball python community right there for you. If you want to check out a full video on him, on his journey, on his trip up here, head over to his channel, Racr Reptiles, R-A-C-R, right?
Yep.
Reptiles. He did a full breakdown, how some of the snakes got out, they're lethargic, we thought we lost a couple of them. It started hailing when he was coming here. Go check out his story, it's pretty funny, and it's just, you know, Murphy's Law, that's how shit works, right? You think you can have a nice, easy trip up, it's like 60 degrees here. As soon as he hits state lines, first time in New York, it's hailing, he hit the belt. If you know the belt, you know there's potholes everywhere, snakes are bouncing around. Go check out his video, it's a really funny story. So I just figured it'd be nice just to get to know him. So some people follow just my channel, some follow just his channel. If you don't know Rob, this is what this video is going to be about. We're going to simply just talk to my buddy how he got started, why he got started, and what he works with. So, Rob, so how'd you get started? When did you get started?
Got started because of my son Cam, and that's where I'll explain the Racr real quick because everybody always asks. The RACR is just Rob and Cam's Royal Reptiles. That's me and my son. We breed together. But we got started a few years ago.
But you're also in the cars too, right? Your wife's got the Mustang, and they're also in the cars. So it kind of worked.
Yeah, it all fit. but we didn't even think about the Racr aspect until the logo was already made.
Right,
it just stuck. But so it started with me and my son. He wanted a snake several years ago for his birthday. We ended up getting him a corn snake and went to PetSmart. Didn't know anything about purchasing, snakes, where to go, where to get them. He had this corn snake for maybe 2 months, and it died. And he was devastated. My son, he's had several pets. He's had birds. He's had fish. He has 2 cats that he's had since kindergarten, and he's almost 19 years old now. So he always had stuff. He always wanted. Well, when that corn snake died, he was devastated. And
so how long ago was this?
This was close to 5 years ago now.
Okay.
And I didn't even know if he was going to want another snake, to be honest with you. For several months went by, and he didn't really mention it, didn't say anything. He was still kind of heartbroken over that first corn snake. Well, then we started getting close to Christmas time.
That's when you got this guy,
and we ended up finding him a piebald ball python.
Yeah, show him off. We're going to do a whole video. Rob's got some really cool shit in here. We'll do a whole video on introducing all the snakes, but this is his first ball python, which is, what, 5 years old?
Yeah.
They call this Boss. And actually, Boss is the male of the eggs that's in my incubator.
So this is Boss. He's just...
So that was your first ball python?
Normal pied, yep.
So when did you decide, you know what, I want to breed ball pythons? About a year ago, right? Same time I really started collecting also, right? Last July?
Last summer. Like, Cam and I, he had just turned 18. He was getting ready to go into the military. And we had talked about getting more ball pythons and maybe breeding.
It's
maybe
like
2 or 3,
addiction, right?
Yeah.
You know what's funny is, like, we went to Walmart today to pick up, guys, I have a reptile room now. I'm not going to show it off yet. We're not quite done, but we're picking up some supplies for the reptile room, some supplies for his videos. And we were just talking about it, how, like, last July, if you know my channel, how I got started, I've always had reptiles my whole life. I decided to go pick one up. I got bit by a ball python, bought a small baby normal. Next thing I know, I had 10 snakes in my house. And it's just the way it works, right? It's like an addiction. Like, I try to explain it to people. Like, if you're trying to breed snakes or people that don't understand the market value or how people actually market these animals, at the end of the day, if you have one, you have 30. It's just, very rarely do I see people that have 1, 2, or 3, unless they're super high-end snakes. That's how it starts, right? It just starts. Yeah. So it all started last July for you, and then what happened?
Yeah. So we kept Boss.
When did it click? When did you say, you know what, I want to breed ball pythons? Instead of being like a collector.
Yeah. Like I said, we kept Boss for several years on his own, and did everything the wrong way to start with.
Right.
Took a while to figure out husbandry and keep him happy, keep him feeding. And then last July, we decided to get a second one, a female, just to breed to Boss. And we thought, okay, we'll grow her out. We know it's going to take 2 to 3 years. And then...
Did you get Lulu, right?
No, it was actually even before Lulu.
Okay.
It's the Inchy Spider Mojave that we picked up. And we picked her up kind of spur of the moment. We went to buy some food for Boss. We saw her in the pet store.
That's it.
Like a legit reptile store.
Yeah,
the guys were really cool. It was a brand new store that had opened in Gainesville. And we were like, yeah, let's take her home. And then we did.
So tell me the moment, though. Tell me the moment. Because for me, honestly, it started as a joke, right? I was hanging out with my buddy Frankie Cutts, Jeremy. We're hanging out. I'm like, I'm going to breed ball pythons, right? And I'm like, yeah, breed ball pythons. And at first the company was called, like, Baker's Balls, which I thought was a little too much. And all of a sudden, like, yeah, I'm going to breed them. We're at the bar drinking. It's a joke. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh shit, like, I'm going to breed ball pythons. Like, I'm going to give this a crack. I'm going to give this a shot. I love these animals. I love reptiles. And why not create your own, like, living art? So when did that... I know my moment. I was at a bar in Patchogue. We're sitting there joking around, having fun. It was a joke. Like, oh, Baker's a snake breeder now. And all of a sudden it was like, no, I'm going to breed ball pythons. So when did that... I know there's a moment.
Well, it was probably 2 weeks after we got the second one.
Okay.
Because after you discover reptile stores and then... you discover Morph Market, things change in your life. That's all there is to it.
Yeah, it's YouTube and Morph Market. It's embarrassing, yeah.
So between all the YouTube for husbandry, trying to keep them in the right way, and then finding Morph Market, I was like, wow. And at the time, the one morph that really set it off for me was, I said, I really want to make a highway. And I realized at that searching Morph Market that it only took 2 genes. You only need a yellow belly and a gravel and you can make a highway. So I started researching the prices of them and I was like, okay.
It's that rabbit hole, right?
Cam.
Yeah.
Let's grab a
gravel. You grab gravel. We're going to be a lot of the snakes, but he'll show off his gravel. He likes his gravel.
So this was the one.
It's a rabbit hole, guys,
really
right?
Really set it off if she doesn't bite me.
She'll tag you. That raven's nasty, man. So this is your gravel female?
Yeah. So this was the first one when we really knew we were going to step up the breeding.
So this is when ultimately you said, you know what? I got these 2 snakes as pets, but now I want to breed. And then you grab this girl to really start making projects, right?
Yeah. So this was the first one. And we got her because we already knew we were picking up an ivory pinstripe. And, for those of you that don't know, the ivory is a super yellow belly. So I knew I had yellow belly in him. I knew I had gravel here. I knew I'd have a good chance to produce the highway eventually.
And this is the rabbit hole, right?
Yeah.
So when did you decide, you know what? I'm gonna take, because to me, guys, there is a difference. Like when I first decided I was gonna breed, we spoke about this going to Walmart also. When I first decided I was gonna breed, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get a couple pied females, one good male, have like 2 or 3 clutches a year. I'm still waiting on my first clutch. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know, but soon. So I was gonna have 1 or 2 snakes. When did you decide, you know what, I'm gonna take this to a different level? I'm gonna buy an ARS 40 rack. I'm gonna fill this thing up. I'm gonna drop 20-25K, and I'm gonna start doing YouTube videos with my buddy.
Well, probably the first time I really wanted to take it beyond having 2 or 3 females just to breed was when I picked up our pastel pied girl.
Okay.
Picked it up from a breeder in Gainesville named Ben Cole. He's pretty well known in the reptile community, but he does not do a lot on social media. But when I saw just his hatchling room, I was like, oh my goodness. I mean,
there's like varying degrees of this thing, right?
He probably had 500 hatchlings in there. And he was just like, go through tubs, pick what you want.
Yeah.
And he was just showing them off to me. And he had, I mean, everything you can imagine, every recessive you can imagine he had, other than like the brand new ones. He had a lot of clown stuff. He had a lot of pied stuff. Lots of yellow belly complex.
So essentially, you saw his reptile room. You saw his collection. You're like, holy shit, that's what I want.
It wasn't even his room. It's just his hatchling room. Like
he's big time.
Yeah,
big time.
His adult room is massive.
Right.
He didn't even show that to me. It's under lock and key for probably another 2 months. I probably bought 3 more snakes off of him.
Yeah.
And then when he's seen it, I mean, he uses vision racks, but it was just rows and rows of vision racks. He probably produces.
That's like when you watch like
700-800 clutches a year.
When you watch like B Square's channel, right? Like he goes, I guess it's in the basement of his facility, wherever it is, and it just looks like an aisles and aisles. Like you're gonna meet my reptile room, which I've been talking about for a while. My snakes are finally out of my living room, but we're in it now. I'm not gonna show you the details, and I'm still waiting on my banner, so we're gonna wait on that. But you envision and you want these crazy amount of snakes, and you see these guys' big facilities. But we were also talking about something earlier also where like him and I are equal. We think the same way, where it's like, you know what, I want 500 snakes now. I want to produce 500 hatchlings now. But we got to start enjoying the journey a little more, right? And I think every big breeder between Ozzy or Billy or Miguel or Redline or Porter, these guys all started like we did, 1 or 2 ball pythons, and then you got to enjoy like the fact that I was doing videos in my living room. Now I have an actual room dedicated to it. How I used to have my cheap racks here, and now I'm going to have this to fill up. And the journey and the process is really amazing. So far, like, what is your favorite part of the journey thus far?
Really nailing down which morphs I really wanted to work with. And like sitting down, putting it out on paper. Cam and I actually
not just buying random shit.
Yeah, we sat down, we drew out a business plan for a 3-year period.
Okay.
And that's been the best part to me, because then I can see progress in increments rather than waiting for that end goal to hit all at once.
Well, you know what's funny? He says that. Like when I was big into powerlifting for a little bit, and there's a guy, I think Mark Bell. Yeah, Mark Bell. I can't even drew a blank. So Mark Bell has a great video talking about like just having the right mindset of getting stronger, and he literally says like if you squat 600. Don't say you want to squat 1,000, right? Like, don't be a retard. Like, say you want to squat 650 or 700. Small increments, right? Because if you sit there and you picture, I have 10 snakes now, I don't have 40 like this guy. Okay, but you have 10 snakes, right? Get 15, get 12, then get 20. Then build your way up there instead of just, enjoy the journey in little increments. So if you are going to start building a company or building a business or building a collection, just like Rob said, it's important, I think, to keep yourself humble and realize that, you know what? I'm not going to go from 2 to 50 or 2 to 100. Let's slowly build over time. So what are some of the projects that you're working
on? My main projects are 4 recessives, Clown, Pied, Desert Ghost, which we just got into, and Lavender Albino, which we've just got into. So those are going to kind of be the staple of Racr Reptile for the next few years. And then I'd love to add Puzzle, and I eventually will, but it's just, I wanted to really get these projects off the ground before I move into this. And then maybe, I still kind of like the sunset. I'm hit or miss on it because there's so many degrees of the sunset, and
Yeah, some look really, really good. Other ones are like,
Yeah. But I'm gonna stick with those 4. And
so Clowns, Pieds, eventually Puzzle, but you got your Desert. I know you got your Desert Ghost Girls right here. Yeah. We're gonna do a whole interview, guys. He's got a lot of nice snakes. I'm gonna do I guess maybe a part 2, or just like meet Rob's snakes, like I did with my snakes, because there are some snakes that I want to show you guys that are absolutely phenomenal. So we'll get into the snakes soon. If you're wondering, I want to see these things, that's why.
And then from a Codom standpoint, we got involved in the Acid Project. I actually met Josh Jensen, purchased the snake from him. He's a really great guy out of Orlando, Florida, and for those of you unaware, the Acid Project is the same thing as the Confusion or the Static. So there's 3 different lines out there. He was closest to me. I got the most response from him, talking to him via text, email, and then when I met him in person, had lunch and purchased a snake. Absolute gentleman. I definitely
how nice
do
are people
business with him again.
Mike from Red Line Pythons was telling us how 10 years ago, we were FaceTiming Miguel the other day with Mike. Mike was nice enough to FaceTime us when he was with him. And these are big time guys. And he said, Mike even said 10 years ago, nobody was like that. Everyone's out to get everybody. I'm sure you're still going to find assholes in the hobby, but for the most part, literally, I've only known you for 4 or 5 months, but between the whole police thing and the ball python thing, he's like my brother, and he's literally living in my house, and it's not a problem whatsoever. Like, I love the community for that.
I do too.
Yeah, but let's talk about, so like we said before, he's from Gainesville. He is from Florida, and he is buying a house in Tennessee. How many acres?
15 acres.
15 acres. And, I don't actually think he even wants to be here, to be honest with you. I think he just came, because his wife's moving the kids and the dogs and everything else into Tennessee.
Yeah, you're right, though.
Yeah, he's no dummy. I hope she doesn't. I hope Desiree watches. You're going to be deep shit. Well, let's talk about that. So how many acres you getting?
15 acres.
And you're building buildings.
Yes. In addition
to... So stay tuned, because Rob's not going to be some cop in a room. He has a whole building. Explain your building. Explain your future plans real quick.
So... in addition to the snakes, we breed golden doodle dogs, which are a hell of a lot more work than the snakes ever will be.
Well, to interject on you. So I've had friends tell me, like, Bake, why don't you breed something normal like dogs? Here's the thing. There's 40 snakes here. They're in one room, right? Here, like Rob said, these are the apartments, right? This is the apartment. I thought she was laying. This is the apartment, right? What other room, or what other species of animal, like take dogs for example, you can have 40 dogs in one room and you can breed them to make the money or have the hobby or to progress like the species. It's not happening. So you literally have a rule, like put it this way, you're going to have hundreds of snakes in the one house, right, the one building. Yeah. How many dogs can you have in that one building?
Yeah, I mean maybe 24 in the same size building.
Right, exactly.
And that's just the house, in addition to the property that has to be fenced off for them to exercise. So yeah, big difference.
Snakes are the way to go. If you're going to breed some, go with snakes or all the reptiles. Especially, I love my ball pythons, we all do. So you're building a building. Tell me how big it's going to be. Tell them what you're going to be doing, man. What is the goal?
So the building is going to be 14 by 32, and basically 3/4 of that building is going to be either snakes and storage for the supplies for the snakes, and then the other, 1/3, 1/4 is going to be to breed rodents, because my collection's getting to the point where it gets pretty expensive.
Well, you're also going to
live rodents.
Right, you're living in the sticks, so you can't just drive to a pet store, right?
Exactly.
So I was going to breed rats. It's funny, I was going to breed, remember I had a whole conversation with Ozzy Boyd for like 2 hours about breeding rats and how I have, like, pretty much the measurements he just said is what my basement is, right? The one part of my basement is like 12.5 by 35. So I can literally have a great facility downstairs. I was going to start breeding rats and start doing that. And Ozzy Boy was like, do not breed them in your house. You're going to destroy your house. So I'm not fortunate enough to have a whole building. But I'll tell you right now, guys, like how motivated this guy is, 5, 6, 7 years from now, like Racr Reptiles will be well known, bro. He's gonna have his own facilities, his own state-of-the-art facilities. He's already working on crazy recessive genes now. And I tell you, he's someone really to look out for. So.
Well, I appreciate it. But like you said earlier, I'm just trying to enjoy the journey right now. I'm looking forward to getting the building.
It's hot in here.
I actually got everything mapped out and sent all the specs to my wife last night, so the building could be ordered.
She's probably have to build it. She's probably have to build on her own too, because she won't be around.
Yeah, if I stay in New York long enough, she should be moved in completely, house unpacked, and all I got to do is walk through the front door when I get there.
And you know what the best part about it is? So these things are a pain in the ass to build. Go check out his channel. He has a whole time lapse of you building it. Those things are a pain in the ass to build. And he offered it to me at the same price he paid for it. It's already in my house or whatever. So the only thing he's gonna have to do is order a new AS rack to his house and rebuild that thing. So that's how lazy Rob is. He even offered to give me the rack at cost so he can stay here. He has to take it down again.
Well, if I get the rack ordered soon enough, maybe my wife will build it before I get there. I don't know.
Right? Time will tell. So listen, that's just scratching the surface of Rob from Racr Reptiles, right? I think Cam's gonna come visit us in a couple weeks. Yep. Maybe you'll meet Cam. Listen, we're gonna get into this more. We're gonna start doing more collab videos. That's just a brief synopsis of what Rob is all about. I'm telling you to look out for him. If you don't do it already, Racr Reptiles. I was at Racr .reptiles on Instagram, right?
Yes. And
then Racr Reptiles on YouTube. Go follow him on both, guys. Me and him are both growing together. It's going to be really interesting to see. Really enjoy the journey. So, as always, guys, thanks for watching the video. We're going to do more videos like this. Anything else you want to add?
Yeah, definitely go watch my snake laying eggs video, because it has more views than any of Baker's videos right now, and I'm trying to keep it that way.
I got double subscribers, though, so it's fine. I really don't care. But it's not 10 minutes, so it is what it is. That's why I keep looking at Luna right here. Like, you gotta lay eggs, honey. Someone do something. I think all my snakes are. I'm not gonna say this, but I'll lose followers. Anyway, so listen, guys. As always, I appreciate it. Be safe. Always remember watch the 6.